everybody, welcome to the Homestead. So what we're going to do today is prepare some meat for your curing and long-term storage. That's meat, venison. It's deer season. We've been harvesting a number of deer, and we're going to take a whole deer today and we're going to cure it and prepare it for long-term storage. We're going to turn it into salami and what's called capicola. Now, if you're familiar with some pork products and some other things out there that are made by the Italians, very popular and familiar with many Italians, a capicola is the shoulder and loin part of an animal or the pig, but we're going to use venison today. We like venison on the homestead, and so we're going to turn an entire deer into salami, hard salami, and a capicola. So we're going to start that process today. We have all the ingredients and all the materials here that we're going to use. We have a bunch of salt, coarse salt. We have a bunch of celery powder, and you may remember we did a video not too long ago where we grew and harvested our own celery just for the purpose of curing and storing meat. This is a very good preservative. It has a high amount of nitrates in it, and it will do well for long-term storage to deter harmful bacteria like botulism from growing in your meat. And so you need to use some sort of nitrates, and celery or arugula is a great source for that. We also have some juniper berries for flavoring, some red pepper flakes, some smoked salt that we did here on the homestead. The juniper berries are also harvested here on the homestead from our juniper trees. We have some red wine. We have some netting for the salamis, the hard salamis, and we have some butcher's twine, and we also have some beef intestines. And the beef intestines will be used to make the hard salami. We'll be using that with our sausage stuffer that we'll be using later. So we'll run all of this through and give you the details on everything. Stick around. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the video. Okay, so we got all of our meat ground up and we're ready to go. Now we're starting to do our measurements. The only important thing here from here on out is the salt content. This is what's going to cure the meat and prevent any bacteria, harmful bacteria, from growing inside the meat while it ages. And so what we're going to go with is 4% salt. They say 3% is the magic number. You can kind of go up from there if you want to. So we're going to go 4% salt. So we'll weigh out a batch, and then we'll go ahead and measure the salt that we have, and also mix in some celery, the celery powder, in with the salt, and the rest of the stuff is just for flavoring. Again, red pepper flakes, black pepper, some smoked salt, and some wine to go with that to add some acidity to it to help interact with the salt and cure the meat. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to use the beef intestines to go ahead and create the salami. And so we'll go ahead and get that started and measure out the salt and get going. Okay, so we've got all of our hard salamis laid out. What we're going to do next is go ahead and cut netting to size for each one of these, and we're going to put them in a net. And then from the net and from the strings that they have attached, they will hang in the smokehouse. And then after about 2 days or so in the smokehouse, we'll bring them out of the smokehouse where they're going to be getting a cold smoke. Just a cold smoke, no heat whatsoever, it's just a cold smoke to add flavoring and also to help the curing process. And then we'll take these salamis and we'll hang them in the pantry for about 4 months. 4 months is the proper time to hang these. You might be able to do it for less if you had smaller salamis, but for these size, based on what I've learned online and other people, talking to other people who have done this, 4 months is a good hang time to have these finished curing. So we're going to go ahead and get these netted and get them in the smokehouse. Okay, so the purpose of the netting is simple. You're just trying to hold the form of the salami as it ages. And they sell these really expensive stainless steel netters or whatever they are to put the net on the meats that are going to be curing and aging for a long time. And we decided to find a cup, cut the bottom out of the plastic cup because it'll hold its shape, and just slide the net over the top like that. And just push it on through. Really simple. Saves you some money. You still get the same effect. And you don't have to buy some expensive stainless steel gizmo to do it for you. So there you go, and that's I guess the purpose of the netting is just to hold the form of the salami as it ages, and it doesn't get disfigured, and it just looks pretty, looks nice. And so we'll be hanging these. There's the knots on the end of the salamis that we'll be hanging them from in the smokehouse, just like that. Well, there you go. We've got all of our smoked salami, the hard salami that we put together. It's been in the smokehouse now for 2 days. We're going to take it and move it into the pantry, and from there it'll hang between 3 and 4 months before we start to finally dive into it. And some people have told me, Zach, that's an awful long time to wait before you eat your meat. And I get it, but you know, the idea was to go back, and so when the deer season's over and the harvest season is over for meat production, which is always usually during the winter time, that I don't have to go start buying meat again in the spring and summer at the store. I can go back to the pantry and take down a stick of salami and be able to use that for sandwiches or whatever else, any protein, you know, that my family would need. We go get it at the pantry inside of our house rather than going to the grocery store. And so there's been a lot of questions, you know, about the process. I know if you're listening, if you have questions about the process, please post them if they weren't already addressed in the video. But some of the questions are like, you know, hey, what about the nitrates? I see you're putting nitrates inside your meat. You know, doesn't that cause cancer? Doesn't that cause heart attacks? Well, no. The FDA has already come out, and now just understand that I wouldn't believe the FDA if it told me night's dark and day's light. However, the FDA says it's perfectly safe to consume nitrates from processed meats that are purchased in your grocery store. I don't believe that, okay? Most of the nitrates that you'll find inside of your grocery store meats in your deli section of your grocery store are chemical nitrates and nitrites that they have put in that meat to preserve it. And I don't think that's natural. What I do believe is natural is how people used to do this a long time ago, back hundreds of years ago. They would take either nitrates from two natural sources, and that is, number one, they would take nitrates from saltpeter, that was found, a mineral that was found in the ground, or they would take it from plant material. Like many plants contain a large amount of nitrates. We use celery. Celery has a large amount of nitrates. Arugula is another plant material that you can find that has a large amount of nitrates that you can use. And what we do is we sprinkle this on our meat or include it in the recipe to provide a natural nitrate. And what that does, that nitrate interacts with the proteins inside of the meat and breaks down and turns itself into nitrites, which kills things like botulism. Folks, salt will not kill botulism. Botulism can exist inside of an oxygenless environment, and salt only kills about 90% of the bad bacteria that's out there that can make you sick inside your meats. You need to have nitrates. Nitrates will convert into nitrites and will kill botulism. Meats that are hung for and cured for a long period of time need to have this so that you don't get sick. And so the natural way to do that, other than using chemicals, is using plant material like celery. So the FDA has come out and warned against people who use celery. So on one hand, they're saying that the chemical nitrates that you use, that you find inside of your deli meats, inside of your local grocery store, are completely okay, but be cautious if you use celery for nitrates, because that celery stuff will kill you, right? Folks, celery is a natural plant that you can grow. Arugula, again, also, that will provide the nitrates for you when you want to cure meat. It's absolutely, in my opinion, would be much healthier to use a natural form of nitrates found in nature, found in plant materials that are healthy, in your vegetables that are healthy for you. We know anyway. So that's what we use for our nitrates. You got to have nitrates to preserve meat. It's just pure and simple. The only way to do it, you got to have nitrates to preserve meat for long periods of time. It's the only way you're going to kill off botulism and things like that that can make you sick. Also, when the nitrates convert into nitrites, it produces an amazing flavor when it breaks down that protein inside the meat that you'll find nowhere else. You just won't. And a lot of places today just add the nitrites back in the meat, and you miss that amazing flavor-producing phenomenon that happens when you convert nitrates into nitrites in your meat. There's something that's done to the flavor at the same time protecting the meat from harmful bacteria. So anyway, let's go ahead and get these things in the house. We're going to hang them up. They're going to stay there for 3 to 4 months. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Tell others. Share our videos on Facebook. We really hope you guys get a lot out of this. We know we do. We're really appreciative of all the subscribers and all the comments and emails that we get. All right, we'll see you next time on American Homestead.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button below the video. It really means a lot to us. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Now you can support An American Homestead by becoming a patron. Visit patreon.com/An American Homestead to see all the benefits of becoming a patron of our channel. You'll get access to private videos, pictures, and even live question and answer sessions that you can participate in. Some patrons will even receive free gifts throughout the year from the Homestead. Visit patreon.com/An American Homestead to check it out and see the rewards of supporting our channel.